Um, I hope people can hear me. My apologies. I was live, and then I wasn't. I don't know what happened, but unfortunately, Facebook owns this stuff and can do whatever it wants. But I think it's because I had music playing in the background, and it picked up that there was music, and it automatically said, you can't have music. I don't know. But anyway, here we are again. I'm 100% on live. You can ask whatever you like. Good news is that on my phone, I have the old live that I had running, and it has the questions people had asked. So Mary Barton, Colleen Edis, Bill Robertson, Jane Miller, Laurie McNulty, Jessica Leishman, Tina Schultz, Katie, Tina, and Lori. We're all here. We're going to be able to answer all your questions. So unfortunately, the live ended earlier than I would hope, but I'm back. So hopefully you're here. We're going to get started. I'm going to give 2 or 3 minutes for the people who, for some reason, got dropped. I'm going to give them a couple minutes to jump back on. So again, my problem there, don't know what it was, but it just stopped my live stream for whatever reason. The minute I turned off the shared screen, I hit stop shared screen, and I came into my live stream, and unfortunately, that's what happened. So I'm going to go run over here, turn on my fan because it's hot. I'm back. All right. Hopefully everybody can hear me. Put a thumbs up over there in the comments. I have all of the questions people asked before, so I will be able to answer them. Right? So people asked some questions earlier, and I'll be able to answer them because, as I said, they're here on the previous live stream that closed down. So I'm going to answer them, and then I'll delete that old live stream that's sitting there. So, my name, Vince Manfredi. I am a council member here in the city of Maricopa. My goal is pretty simple. I want to be open and transparent with the people of Maricopa. That's why I do these. Once a month, I get on Facebook, I go live, and I answer any questions people ask. They could be anything. I don't care what they are. Personal questions, sports questions. Mostly people ask about development stuff in the city of Maricopa. Now again, I'm happy to answer anything. All I ask is a couple things. Don't be rude, and let other people ask questions. If you just keep pounding away questions, unfortunately, it takes up everybody else's time also. So ask your question, and when you see no other questions, ask more, right? If you want to put 2 or 3 in there as a stockpile, put them in. The good news is, no matter what question goes in there, I'm going to answer every single one. I'm not going to stop early. I'm not going to stop just because I'm tired. I'll answer your questions. Sometimes these things go 2 hours. Sometimes they go a half an hour. It really comes down to you guys asking questions. I hope that makes all the sense in the world. So, as I said, there were some questions stocked up. So I'll answer those. But please put your questions on the right-hand side in the comment section or below in the comment section. Hi, Janice. And I'm happy to answer any single question you have. All right. So before, Marie Barton asked me 4 minutes ago, when does Lowe's open and what other confirmed stores are in that complex? Lowe's opens over there. I believe it's in like a month. I don't have the exact date. They haven't given us an exact date. But when I do get the exact date, I'll come back here and I'll post it. And believe me, you're going to know. Because for the weeks prior, people are going to be chomping at the bit to get in there. But I think it's about a month and a half from now. It could open a little bit sooner for like stress testing. What other confirmed stores? I know that Five Guys is going in there. I know that Panera Bread, I believe, yeah, Panera Bread's going in there. There's a gym, a ladies' like gym of some sorts. but it's like ladies kind of curves, not curves though, but I forgot the name of it. There's a ladies gym going in there. There is a Einstein Bagel is going in there. A couple other things, but my hope is In-N-Out, but who knows? You know, I like In-N-Out. My wife doesn't like me eating In-N-Out, but I like In-N-Out. Hope that answered your question. When is the light at Iron Point and Porter? Sorry, when is the light at Iron Point and Porter going in? Yeah, let me look at this here. Oh, this book right here has a lot of information. So, let me see. Iron Point and Porter. Let's see. Iron Point and Porter. All right. QRST traffic. Traffic signal. I do not have a light at Iron Point and Porter currently scheduled. I have Homestead Drive in Porter. That is later this year. It will start. But I don't have one at Iron Point and Porter. Shoot me an email. Vincent.Manfredi at maricopa-az.gov. What I'll do is I'll find out exact answer to that question for you, and I'll send it over to city staff and get you an answer. But I don't have anything in my book for Iron Point and Porter. I think you're talking about the one in front of the new apartments. Not sure, but I'll check for you. All right, so next question I had there. Now again, everybody that's just jumping on, I was on a live and it crashed and went down. So I started a new live, and what I've done is I got the questions from the last live, and I'm just sharing them right now. So do me a favor, if everybody can. In this here on the bottom, click on share, right? And share this live event so other people get to see it. Share it to groups, share it to your friends, share it to your HOAs, any of them. Okay? And what I will do is I will get to them as soon as humanly possible. I'm going to get to every single question. No matter the question, I'm going to answer it. Make sense? Okay. Now, doesn't mean I'm always going to be right. Doesn't always mean that I'm going to give you all the information you need, but I guarantee you I'm going to answer your question. At least try. All right? So, next one is, Vince, no live video. Thanks, Bill. I took care of it. Hi, I was wondering about why we're not getting our gasoline from New Mexico, Texas, like Casa Grande. Is it cheaper than getting it from California? So there's different blends, and because we're in the region with Maricopa County, our blend is different. I know we're not in Maricopa County, we're in Pinal County, but we're connected to Maricopa County, so we get a different blend of gasoline, and that comes from a different area. So unfortunately, it's a little bit more expensive than it would be if you were getting the gasoline that's a blend more from southern Arizona as well as New Mexico and Texas. Hey Vince, thank you for another Facebook question and answer session. Is there any truth about a possible Target store, or is it just rumors? Just rumors. So Target is a store that everybody wants. So Vestar is a company that's developing Maricopa Town Center. Maricopa Town Center is down south on 347, a little bit past Copper Sky on the left-hand side, right across the street from the Ak-Chin Circle Entertainment Center. So Vestar will have some housing in there, of course, but more importantly, the corner of that is going to be all commercial. So Vestar, according to what I've read and I've seen, Vestar works a lot with Target. So they bring Target into many of their developments, like Scottsdale Town Center, all of them. So if you look up the Vestar website, you'll be able to see it. So basically, it's a rumor, but I think it's a pretty good rumor. We'll see. But then again, remember what I always say, I never believe anything's coming till I go walk in the door. Even at Lowe's, I'm worried, because you never know. I think it's coming. 99.99999% at this point. The sign's up, all that work is being done, so I'm kind of relaxed. But I never ever celebrate until I can walk in the door. What's being built by Home Depot? By Home Depot right now being built is condos and townhouses. Some are built to rent, some are built to sell. In the front of it, Starbucks is going in there, a couple other places. And then to the left of it, if you're looking right at Home Depot, will be more retail. I don't know at which retail right now. But also over there, Buffalo Wild Wings has expressed interest, Circle K, a couple other places. What restaurant fast food places are coming? As I said earlier, pretty good. We got another Jersey Mike's is coming, another Chipotle is coming, a couple ice cream shops or dessert shops are coming in. There's another Wendy's coming. There's Panera Bread, Five Guys. So many. No In-N-Out or Chick-fil-A yet. Tina Schultz asked me a question, and this is on my last one because the Facebook Live crashed. I'm answering the questions from the previous Facebook Live before it crashed like 15 minutes ago. And this is the new one. So they're not listed on the side yet, but I'm answering them. When should we... is 347 really going to be expanded? Yes. Yes, it's going to be expanded. When? My hope is to get the construction started as early as the end of this year, early next year, finished within the next 3 years. When should we expect another grocery store, and which one? Pretty quickly. I know that Aldi's has been rumored and been talked about opening up by Lowe's. I know there's another large supermarket. I don't know the name. I can't give you the name. Going over by on the east side of town near Hartman. Something's looking at that. I know there's a small specialty grocer looking at the space over by across from Walmart too. When is Baskin Robbins opening? Katie Carrigas. I don't know. I think it's like 3 months away, 90 days away or something like that. But you'll start seeing signs going up, looking the door as more and more gets done. It really comes down to them. They have their stuff, they have their approvals, they can start their tenant improvements or TIs anytime they like. I heard we're building 22 homes off the 238. Is this true? I heard they were. I heard they were building 22,000 homes off the 238. Is this true? Yeah, probably a lot more than that. If you're talking about 238 going straight, all the way down, there's going to be tons of them. But the ones on Moonlight Ranch right now, they're not 22,000. I think it's like 2,200 or something like that over the next 5 to 10 years. But no, not 22,000 anytime soon. But there's going to be a lot of houses out there. There's also going to be about 22,000 or 25,000 houses south of the city in land that the city does not control, has no responsibility for, has no control over. That's all Pinal County. So there's going to be a ton of housing in the city over the next 10 years. We're sitting at 80,000 people right now, and I believe, in my heart, I believe what we're going to see is over the next 10 years, we'll be sitting at 150,000. Over the next 20 years, 180, 200,000 people. And just to give you an idea, a city like Tempe is not more than 280,000 people. The city of Maricopa has one thing that many of these cities does not have. One is land, so the availability of building. 2, of course, is the water supply needed to do it. And 3 is the affordability factor, in which people can find a house here for nearly 60-70% of the price they would pay for a house up in Scottsdale or Chandler or Gilbert or Tempe. So people are going to keep wanting to move here. It's the same reason I moved here. Back in 2009, we were looking, and I found a house here. It was cheap, it was affordable, the community was very nice, but at the time, we were in a recession. But I read stories at the time that we were supposed to be 100,000 people by now, or a couple of years ago. The recession, of course, slowed all that down. But yeah. All right, let me look here and see if there's any more questions that I missed. All right, so what I did is I went to the old questions from the old ones. See, it was running. I don't know what happened. And I answered all those questions. All right, now I'm going to scroll up on here and I'm going to answer these questions. So everybody, you're on here. There's 21 people watching. Ask a question. It doesn't matter what the question is. There are no stupid questions, only stupid answers. So I apologize if I give a stupid answer, but ask your questions. I'd love to answer them. I'd love to have conversations and go into detail about what's happening here in the city, what's happening. I don't even care if they're regional questions or state or national questions. I don't care. I'll answer any question. All right. Welcome back. There we go. Hello. I've asked in the past, do we have enough police in our town? Janice asked this question. I want to ask this again because given all the accidents, shooting, and crime, I'm thinking we need more. Your thoughts? It's a good question. Janice, we just hired in the next budget, this budget right here, we just accounted for 4 more brand new police officers. And what we do is we also replace retiring or moving on officers that want to go to different different police departments or whatever. So we hired 4 new ones in our next budget. But what we did is we advanced that hire. We've already hired 3 of them, and they're already through the process and at the academy. So that what they're doing is going over all the training and stuff, and they'll be on board and start their training here in the city soon too. So what we do is we're always looking at it. And when I was talking to the police chief, Chief Goodman, he mentioned to me that we're at a good spot right now. We bring in another one, and then of course next year we'll need more. Because as we grow as a city, in the last year or so, we've grown about 6,000 people. We need to bring in more people. And it really comes down to what's happening and when it's happening. So I hear a lot about these shootings, right? Bang, bang, bang. And I hear a lot about these shootings that are happening in the city of Maricopa. And a lot of them, I think all of them, over the last 2 months, there's been plenty of them, and plenty of stories about people shooting cars, people doing drive-bys, people shooting at each other, family members shooting each other. There was actually a murder, I believe. So when you look at it, there's a lot of shootings going on, but none of them are, how do you call it? I don't want to say random, right? None of them are random crimes. So people aren't coming down to the city of Maricopa or living in the city of Maricopa and robbing each other, if that makes sense. People aren't coming down here to commit crime. A lot of the shootings and violent crimes you've been seeing are actually people that know each other. So family members and friends and people sleeping with everyone else, and who knows? But there's a lot of stuff like that happening. But they all know each other. Now I'm not saying they all know each other as in all the cases are connected. Each individual case is separate. But it was a brother and a sister, I believe it was. There was a boyfriend and a girl, and that one. There was another one where it was family members. Just recently we had some crime happening where it was mother and father and son. So a lot of that kind of stuff. Now, you could have 1,000 police officers. That ain't going to stop, right? Because people acting like people can't be stopped by police. Now what can happen is there's a quick response and you stop it and you minimize the damage that happens. And a prime example is what happened at Copper Sky. So what happens at Copper Sky is there's an argument between 2 groups of people. One young lady gets a little bit more excited than other people, and there's a fight. The police were there within minutes. They were able to squash the issue as quickly as possible and stop it. And we had a great response to that by the police department. Now, Does that put lifeguards at risk? Yeah. Does that put people at the pool at risk? Yeah. But the police can't be everywhere to stop every crime. But what they can do is have a great response to the crime by patrolling areas as much as possible and being readily available. And that's what happened at Copper Sky on this past weekend, is they were they were there within minutes, and they were able to squash it as quickly as possible. The only other way to stop every incident of violence is to have a police officer stationed in every home. That's an over-exaggeration, of course, but stationed within every community, and you can't do that. Over 60%, almost 60% of our budget for the city of Maricopa goes to public safety, police, fire, the trucks and cars they need, as well as the uniforms, the vests. All of that money, that goes to police and fire, public safety. So, unfortunately, there's not a lot of money to spend on it. And then people say, well, don't spend money on other things. And understood. But when that happens, and we cut maybe a kid's sports program, what happens there? We remember what happens is you heard the rumor, an incorrect rumor, that we were cutting sports programming, and people went crazy. So everybody wants what they want. Everybody also wants to be safe. So you have to have a good balance. And I think we do have a good balance. I think we have enough police officers. I think we have enough lieutenants, enough sergeants, I think we're doing good. And we have a good chief. I think he's great. I think Chief Goodman's great, and I think he's going to be doing good things for the many years to come. But we always have to make sure we're staying vigilant. And as a community, if you see something happening, pick up the phone, dial the non-emergency police number, and tell them about it. That way they can get to it and fix it. If it's an emergency, call 911. It's the only way we're going to make sure that crime stays lower. So if you see somebody walking through the neighborhood and they're looking in car windows, probably a good reason to call 911. If you see somebody sitting at the park, maybe a good reason to call the non-emergency number, right? And if you believe that they're doing something wrong. But if they're just sitting there, their dog's running around or on a leash, sure, that's nothing to call the police for. But if you see something suspicious, call the police. If you see something that's an emergency, call 911. All right. I'm thinking we need more. And we'll have more. All right. Honeycutt just issued a storage facility. They were putting up a temporary fencing. What's being built there? East. There's a U-Haul going in there. There's a couple other things. There's a pizza place going in there. What else? Oh, and Kingdom Hall. Jehovah's Witness Kingdom Hall opened up. All right. Jessica, it's a U-Haul facility. Thank you. I'm having a hard time what to do with my engine. Twin turbo slant 6 and a Pro Charger. What do you think? Johnny, power delivery on that is a great top end power. For me, I don't know. Twin turbos are hard, but the power delivery boosts with the RPM, so it's linear. It's like naturally aspired engine on steroids. They're easier to install. The Pro Charger is easier to install than a turbo, but it doesn't have as much grunt in it, like right? Slightly more, I don't know. But the turbocharging a slant 6, it's hard. Very few people will do that. A slant 6 has a solid bottom, and when built right, it should work. I don't know. But it takes a lot of effort, fabrication, so if you have fabrication machinery, you should be able to do that to turbocharge it. But the bottom line, for max horsepower and wow factor, go twin turbo. If you have the space and the budget. For reliable street strip performance, for me, go Pro Charger. But for unique, retro cool, something different, turbo, the slant 6, but expect a lot of tinkering and working with. But it all depends what you're going to use it for. Strip, shows, street, all of the above. It's an everyday car. Who knows? And, of course, your budget. and how much time you have. I hope that makes sense. Doesn't to me, but I hope that makes sense. All right. You want me to share this with the HOA? You know who's on there. Oh, Maureen, don't worry about it. He won't show up. He never does. He just likes to post on Facebook. But yeah, share it with your HOA. Share it with everybody. All right. So Mike Plesha, who is responsible to enforce no parking signs in subdivisions? Nobody seems to pay them any mind, along with parking in the wrong direction on side streets. Good question. So if you're parking the wrong way, that's a non-emergency police call. Let the police know. The police aren't patrolling for it usually, unless they have nothing better to do, and there's a lot other stuff they should be doing. So they're not going to be patrolling for it. It's not something that's a priority, I don't believe. But if they see it, they might ticket it. But if you believe it's a danger, call the non-emergency number for PD. And the no parking signs, I don't know many of them, but if your no parking sign is like in a gated community like Province, then Province has to handle that. A lot of HOAs like Villages and Rancho, they have their non-parking and they enforce that on the HOA level. But I live in the Meadows. There's free-for-all on parking there. Sometimes I drive down a road and there's 20, 30 cars on each side, and that's the way it is. There's not a lot of no parking spots. All right, sorry about that. Hopefully that answered your question. Next question. Joan, what happened to the funds from the first sales tax increase that was taken to court? Some businesses received the money back. But what happens to the money in the account? Joan, thank you so much. Great question. Here's what happens. So they this county passed a tax back in 2017. So every one of us started paying that tax. When we bought a Coca-Cola or a flashlight or whatever, we started paying that tax, half-cent sales tax on everything we were buying. Over time, it built up, and it was about $80 million, almost $90 million. With interest and stuff, it might go over 90 at the time. So at the time, we won in court, we lost in court, we lost in court, won in court, lost in court. When the Supreme Court decided that the Pinal County two-tiered system was invalid. And what that means is, what they said was, what the system said was anything over $10,000 you didn't pay the tax on. Anything below $10,000 you paid the tax on. That's a two-tiered system. Was illegal according to the Arizona Supreme Court. So what they said was the $90 million that's already been collected, you cannot use it. Instead, we want you to return it. Now, we said, sure, tell us who to return it to as Pinal County, and we'll return it to the actual home people who purchased stuff. Unfortunately, what they said was no. It has to go back to the taxpayer, which is in the state of Arizona, the business. The business is allowed to pass that tax on to you, and you pay it. But unfortunately, it's their tax, so they get it back. Now, the business, I believe, should be forced to give it back to the people. But how do you do that, right? I don't have my receipt from the Tic Tacs I bought 4 years ago, right? So anyway, the only way to do it now is to return it to businesses. Businesses just don't get it back, though. Businesses have to apply for it. My business did not apply for it. For me, anything left over, I want to go to roads. So I have a business here in Pinal County. I didn't even look into it. I don't even know if anything's due to me. I didn't apply for it, didn't ask for it. So what happens is that half-cent sales tax is returned to businesses. If you're a business like Walmart, Target, car dealerships, you're talking about good money, millions of dollars in some cases. So they're taking that check and they're doing whatever they want with it, right to their bottom line. They're spending it hopefully in Pinal County, but who knows? My goal, of course, was to actually have them not requested as my company did. Unfortunately, when you talk about money, people want it. So about a little over 40 million about a month ago, last time I got a number, I'll get a new number soon. I get it monthly. About a month ago, a little over 42 million, or I think it was already been refunded to businesses. That left about $50 million sitting in an account. Now, for every time this happens, they also have to take out money for Department of Revenue, who has to do the research and pay the check, so they get their cut. So what happens is when you're all done, right? When all the businesses, by the end of next year, they have till next year to request their money. After that's all done, whatever's left over, I want, and what Pinal County will want, is to be able to spend the money on roads in Pinal County. But that's going to come down to us and the courts. The courts would prefer, and the Goldwater Institute, who actually did the lawsuit, would prefer that none of that money is spent on roads in Pinal County, because that is rewarding us. So they would prefer the money is given to ADOT to use on any project that ADOT would want. And even if the ADOT took the money and used it for projects in Pinal County, what they would use it for is repairs, reclamation, fixing roads. And we needed it, and we needed the money for us to be able to build new roads. But unfortunately, that's how it happens. So by the end of next year, 2026, we'll have a better understanding and full accounting of what's been returned to businesses, and then what we as a city might be able to see. In reality, it's going back to the businesses as much as possible, but it is what it is. They have storage also. Yes, correct. Tammy said, are we getting a grocery store in the east side Sorrento area? Yeah, I mentioned a little earlier, there will be grocery stores out there. Your next question is when? I have no idea. But pretty quickly, with all those houses out there, grocery stores see dollar signs. So it's going to happen. The people need to eat. Are you able to confirm if we're getting a second prize? Ian, that was the same question before. I can neither confirm nor deny the rumors that we're getting a second prize. Lori asked a question. Can we please get all the potholes fixed on the 347? They're getting big and deep in a lot of places. Lori, good news. Over the last couple of months, we've done a lot of fixing of potholes on the 347. And by we, I mean ADOT. ADOT has road resurfacing in the 5-year plan throughout the state. Some of it's on 347. So if you notice where Casablanca is, a lot of that got fixed. And a lot more will get fixed over the next year or 2 years. But we're also going to be adding a lane there. So they don't want to add too much fixing, because then they got to pull it up to add the lane and repave. Crazy. So I hope that answered the question for you. Jane Miller, I know you can't stop the residential building, but I see where zoning is being changed from commercial to residential. What is happening when we have so much housing already with so much more coming? I'd love to talk about this forever and go into much detail, bringing the numbers down, but there's not a lot of commercial being turned into residential. What you're seeing is residential being turned into higher density residential. So you're seeing stuff like single family residential turning into more of a mixed use or higher density residential. But with that comes more commercial. An example of that is over by Hartman. So what happened is some of the residential came in there, and they made some of the lots smaller. As they made the lots smaller on some of the residential, it allowed more space for commercial. So those corners on Hartman and Edison, those right there, is it Edison? I forget. Those right there have a lot more commercial on them. So another example is the properties down by across from Acton Circle, where Vestar is going to be building. All of that was planned for residential, most of it, some of it commercial in the front. With Vestar going in there, they've taken a lot of the front and some of the frontage of the East-West Corridor, Sonoran Desert Parkway, and it's commercial now, and that'll be commercial. So what you'll see now is a lot of mixed-use projects, meaning there's going to be commercial in front of residential, and that is the way a lot of developers are building right now. An example, of course, is the space across from Walmart, where there's a lot of residential. There's some of it's 5-story buildings, but by allowing the 5-story buildings, we said instead of 5 buildings, there's going to be 3. So what they did is they left space for not only cool stuff to go in there, pickleball and stuff like that, but space where now you're going to see a bunch of residential. So you'll see a lot of mixed use stuff going in. And I was up in Tempe the other day, and holy crap, there's a lot of residential up there. And they're going up. They're going 10, 20. Gee, I think there's a 20-something story building coming into Tempe soon. It's crazy. But yeah, there's going to be more and more higher density housing. A lot of people are like, it's Section 8. Just because it's an apartment doesn't mean it's Section 8. There's more Section 8 single-family residences square footage than there is of apartment. Because there's 0 apartments in the city of Maricopa that accept Section 8. Just, those are facts. I mean, sorry. But, now, can we stop residential building? That's a good question. Because technically, we can. We could put a moratorium on residential building. We could. But we have up to 18 months, I believe it is, maybe 24 months. I did a whole article about this. We have a certain period of time where we have to fix the issue that caused the moratorium. Now, we can't guarantee we can fix the 347, so obviously that's off of it. If the moratorium was needed because of a water emergency, great, but we don't have one of those. So the state can call for a moratorium because of water and restrict our water, then there's a moratorium. The city council, if we call a moratorium on on residential building, we have to be able to fix the problem within our city quickly. And there's no fixing problems within our city quickly, because the problem that exists in our city is the 347, which isn't even in our city. It's a quandary wrapped in a riddle. But in the state of Arizona, property rights are important. The same way your property rights are important, the developers and the landowners' property rights are important to them. Colleen Edis, when are they putting in a signal at Porter and Iron Point? I answered that one. I'm not sure. Shoot me that email, and we'll get to it. I'll figure that out. Are the police seeing a huge increase in speeding stops and ticketing since they made the announcement they are cracking down on speeders on the 347 and John Wayne Parkway? Lori, great question. The state police, are cracking down on speeders on the 347. They are seeing more tickets being issued, and they are seeing arrests being made. So if you're driving out there, you're going 95, 100 miles an hour, used to be a free-for-all, it was like Mad Max out there, be careful, because DPS is pulling people over, and they are towing your car and arresting you if you're at those crazy speeds. Those are criminal charges, criminal speeds. Where's new Circle K going? Circle K is applied or looked at 3 spots. One over by the old library, which is a community center now. One over by Walmart, and one over where Home Depot is, right across from it, and one over by Hartman Road and Honeycutt. Where is it going to go? Your guess is as good as mine. It's up to them. I believe it's going by Walmart, the newest one, but I believe they'll build 2. So again, your guess is as good as mine, but I think it's going to go by Walmart. Hey Glenn, what's going on? All right, Jane Miller, are there any large companies coming in? We need more available employment. 347 is just going to get busier and busier before the widening. Jane, another good question. You guys are asking really good questions today. So there are larger companies coming. When? I'm not sure, and I can't give you any information because it's quiet. They don't like other people to know, or else their competitors come in and try and swipe their land. So, but the industrial triangle here in the city of Maricopa, what we did as a city council many years ago, we came together like 5-7 years ago, and we decided we needed a spot where we can make shovel ready for industrial businesses and commercial to come in and build. So and have their businesses. You'll notice over by where QT is down Edison there is some construction that'll be happening there also, and those are smaller commercial buildings. But the reality is, over on the Industrial Triangle, which is southeast on Maricopa Cascaron Highway, that's all part of the Industrial Triangle that we're talking about, south of the tracks. We're building the east-west corridor, the Sonoran Desert Parkway. That'll go over there. It'll be an overpass right off the railroad tracks. There'll be rail spurs. So there's going to be a lot of work happening over there over the next 2 to 6 years, 7 years. But at one point they said 30,000 jobs. I don't think that's happening. I'm just honest. I think we can get 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 jobs in that area over the next 5 years. It's a great accomplishment. It's really bad when the largest employers are the city of Maricopa, the school district, and Ochin Casino. Those are the 3 biggest employers in the city of Maricopa, or in the area. So really, yes, we need large-scale employers to come in. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to get a car manufacturer to come in, right? But it means we might get the people who create parts for these car manufacturers, like Lucid and stuff like that. So that's the goal, is to figure that out. All right. Are there any new grocery stores coming to town, and what are the chances of getting a Costco? What are the chances of getting a Costco? The grocery store question I've answered a few times, and yeah, there's going to be more grocery stores. I think Aldi's is already probably, in my brain, 20-30% in. There might be a Target one day. I know another Fry's is looking, and people have rumored it. I can't guarantee or say yes or no to any of them. But I know there's going to be more grocery stores because there's more people eating and more money. How do we get a Costco? I don't think we do. Not for a long time. You need to have a lot more people surrounding it that pay the fees to go into it. So Costco, what they're probably doing is they look at the zip codes of the people who are members, and when they see enough people, then they look and say, hey, let's do it. And then they figure out a way to get more members and make it worthwhile. Because Costco makes a large percentage of their money, as you people know, everybody knows, on those memberships. Let's see. Everybody has the same question. Are there any updates on any potential commercial development of grocery stores by Tortosa? I just answered that a while ago. All right, Lori asked a question. What's going on with all the horses? Are they truly being moved? Horses? I don't think they're being moved. So Gila River owns those horses. They're not wild horses. They're owned by Gila River. Gila River takes care of that herd. They feed them. They give them water. They give them medical care. There's they're not kennels. What are they called? Where you put horses. Over by M Mountain in the back there, you'll see them come down with helicopters and push them corrals, push them back to the corrals and stuff, and then give them care that they need and all that stuff. So I don't think they're moving them. I mean, they call it Wild Horse Pass for a reason. Apartments. Okay, Angie. What questions do you have about apartments? Do you not like apartments? You love apartments? I don't know. But you said the words apartments. All right. Has there been any interest in more veterinary offices to come to any of the new commercial developments? I have not seen any or not heard any announced, Brittany, but I'm assuming they know we need it because the 2 veterinary offices here are very busy. Hartman and Honeycutt yet? No. Lauren, I don't know. There's been no push on that. I know 7-Eleven was looking as well as Circle K, but who knows? When Vestar does start to build on that corner, are they making the entrance go on to John Wayne, or are us residents of Palo Brea going to have to fight our way out of our subdivision because of the increase in traffic right at our residential? No, I think it's going to be on not only John Wayne Parkway, but also on Sonoran Desert Parkway. It wouldn't be off of that road. There might be a small exit off that side road as a third emergency exit or something like that, but I don't think it would be off of your road into Palo Brea. But we'll look at it. There was a map. I saw a map. I'll see if I can find the map and I'll share it with you. Alright, this one says hidden. Why is it unhidden? I unhid it. Marty Harsman. Notice a ton of trash on 347 lately again. When do the cleans take place? I think it's like every 3 months or something like that. So ADOT and a company pays for a truck to go up and down and pick up trash. But real cleanups happen when they bring incarcerated people out and they clean it up. I think it was like a month ago, so probably like a month or two from now. But if you notice, my company in Maricopa, I have 2 signs up there, and I pay $300 for each of them. I think it's like $600 a month for them to pay that truck that drives around 347 and picks up trash. So I sponsor part of the road. If you own a business in town, it's a good idea. Sponsor part of the road, and let's get it clean. If you're a church member, get a bunch of church members together, because the more we can get private cleaning done, the even better, right? But the state does clean it. It just, obviously there's thousands upon hundreds of thousands of miles that have to be cleaned in the state. Don't know how to explain it. Grow the city like Asians city in Hong Kong. 7 to 10 stories, but the cities in cities with everything in walking distance. Those are called like 15-minute cities, I think. Anthony asked that question. It makes sense, right? If you have work right there, if you have the ability to entertain yourself right there, movie theaters and stores and all that stuff, if you need all your shopping done right there, it's great. Everything within a certain amount of time. But I don't like it mandated, and I like people to be able to have their cars and go wherever the heck they want whenever they want. But no, having stuff within walking distance is always good. And a perfect example of it is my wife and I were in Italy on a lifetime trip, right? We've been planning it forever. But everything was within the hotel area, so we didn't need to spend a lot of time or spend money on a rental car. Not even, I wouldn't even know where to park it in Rome. So it was pretty cool, but I get it, having everything close. But I also get that the people of Arizona love their freedom and love to be able to hop in their car and go wherever they want, whenever they want. What are the plans for more community activities, facilities, etc.? Copper Sky isn't cutting it and is not accommodating to growth. Can it be expanded? Another built? Marty, great question. And we're going to be building a field house. We already started the construction, not construction, but the pre-construction. So if you go to Copper Sky and you look across the street from Copper Sky, there's an old, not old, it's pretty new, but it was a police substation. We needed it because our police station was so small that and we didn't have an overpass at the time, that we needed some police stationed south of the tracks. We don't need it anymore. So what we did is we made a bigger police department. Everything's in there. The 911 dispatch and all that is in there. And that is being turned into a portion of a field house. So there'll be some indoor activities there, and not locker rooms, but lockers and stuff like that. And right next to it is a field house, the size of a little bit bigger than Copper Sky, but the gym itself, not a workout gym, but the where the basketball is. So it'll have up to, I think it's 8 basketball courts or something like that. Pickleball, all striped out, ready to go, indoors, air conditioned. So we are building that. Should be done next year. What happened to the city center walkable restaurant shops area by city center? It fell through. The land is for sale, so if somebody wants to buy it, come to the city and buy it. But it fell through, Bijan. I'm sorry, Bijan. Anthony Sapore. I could take Italian over here. Anthony Sapore. I'm Italian, by the way. I'm from New Jersey. Definitely need ups here. And Amazon means, UPS. I called it ups. Here in Amazon main centers, those trucks are driving all the way from Chandler. True, I think so. But they would still be driving down here. You mean you mean a distribution center. Gotcha. Yeah, I think a distribution center here might be needed soon because, we do have a lot of people ordering Amazon. I'm one of them. It's just so easy to be able to get printer cartridges and stuff there. What can be done to create a second entrance onto Tortosa? The single entrance significantly impacts EMS, fire, and police response at times. Ian, good question. Nothing. It's horrible, right? But I'll explain. So, Tortosa was designed many years ago, before the city was the city, but when it was Pinal County. So when it was designed, what happened is, I have a map. If you send me an email, vincent.manfredi@maricopa-az.gov, I'll answer it. I'll show it to you. But, so many years ago it was approved. Now, like a lot of approvals at that time, they didn't take into account for growth. They didn't take into account the other stuff around it. They just said, basically, does this meet Pinal County's building code? Let's do it. And they approved it. So the building code back then was 1960s, 1970s building code. And unfortunately, what happened is, if you remember back when they were doing the southern part right off of Hartman, you could drive through there. I did it many times because it was a construction entrance, and you were able to get to those southern homes. But as those homes got built, you'll notice that the emergency exit, boop, closed off. Now, that is not big enough. So Pinal County allowed at the time for those houses to basically block it off. So the builder is not going to give up 2 lots on their property on an already approved subdivision so that the city can put a road in there. And the city can't mandate it because it's already been approved by the county. Exciting. So, nothing. That's not going to happen. Now, that doesn't mean there can't be another way. So what's going to happen, I believe, is you go down a little bit where Anderson Farms is, and you'll be able to have a cross through there. That will come up where the middle part of Tortosa is. So I have maps, and I'll show them to you. And I was talking to the city manager about it. So we'll be able to come out that way and down out to Hartman, but you'll be basically going through a different subdivision. But unfortunately, that's what's going to have to happen because the county approved a subdivision there incorrectly, in my opinion, right? Because they didn't allow for the second egress out of there to Hartman. But let's be realistic, Hartman was a dirt road at the time. Right? Hartman didn't get paved south of Sorrento until a couple of years ago, right? And we chip sealed it. But yeah, unfortunately, actually, my wife and I, when we first moved to Maricopa in 2009, we were looking at houses. The first house we've seen, well, the second house we've seen that she really liked was right over there by Santa Rosa. Is that what it's called? Yeah. And we liked it, but unfortunately we drove it back to 347 and we drove a few times. Then we looked at where the high school was, and we decided that our kids who were in middle school and elementary at the time would be well served with the elementary in the middle, but when it came time for high school, they'd have to bus and spend an hour on a bus every day. So we decided and we moved into Maricopa Meadows where our kids were closer to the middle school, elementary, and high school, because Tortosa just was not usable for us because of those reasons. All right, any updates on the U of A development? Robert, no. There's been always developments, right? But in reality, U of A had that large money issue, right? Last year. Their leadership changed, again, issues. So I haven't heard of any new developments, but we're still working on it. Any news of Kohl's coming? Janice Nickerson. No, I don't know anything about a Kohl's coming here. I've not heard anything about a Kohl's. Any plans for a full-scale hospital? Tommy, I have no plans for a full-scale hospital. Now, that doesn't mean a full-scale hospital won't come here, but I'm not building one, and the city doesn't build hospitals. So hospitals are built by either profit or non-profit businesses, like Dignity Health, a non-profit charity hospital, right? Technically. Banner's a little different. Not Mercy Care, what's it called? I forgot the name of it. There's 4 basic hospital chains. Abrazo just opened up in Buckeye. So these are different hospital chains. So unfortunately, they have to want to build. All the land over by Freddy's is owned by Dignity. The land we sold recently to a hospital chain is not a full service trauma hospital. So no, nothing's going there. It's a trauma hospital, but it'll have more than the current hospital that we have. Current hospital we have is emergency and some stuff, but the one that's going to be down in Copper Sky will have more stuff than that. Maybe some outpatient surgery, maybe a cath lab for folks with heart issues, stuff like that. But there's nothing outside of that I know of. It would be nice to have another movie theater in town and not just the one at the casino that does not open until 4 p.m. Really? 4 p.m.? Do you know of any theaters looking at us at all? You know, I was up in Buckeye and I was talking to the CEO of Harkins. And we were chatting about it, and Harkins has shifted away from movie theaters opening. They're opening these things called back lots, and they're different than movie theaters. And I don't know, most people know, but the movie industry is not doing well with streaming and all of that. So I'm not sure that another movie theater will come. And I told him at the time, I said, hey, when you're done building this back lot here, come see us in Maricopa. We'll help you out. We'll figure out some way to get you down here, blah, 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 you know, the basic economic development stuff. But the reality is I'm not sure. I'm really not. But, like, movie theaters are closing, right? Majestic, I think was the name of it, up in Tempe closed. The big ones, AMC and Harkins, I haven't seen them open new ones in a long time. But I wish, right? I'd love to have another movie theater. All right. Next question is, Tammy Quinn, will we get a FedEx store? I don't know. FedEx stores are private businesses. I think they are franchises. So if you think one's needed, maybe it's an opportunity, build one. And we'll be happy to help you figure that out. But, yeah, I haven't heard of anyone coming. Karen says she can't hear me. Can everybody not hear me? That was 2 minutes ago. Yeesh. God, I hope people have been able to hear me. I've been talking a whole hell of a lot. Yeesh. Is Sprout Shopping Center where the Mod Pizza is? The opposite end of that is an empty cap that looks like it's been a drive-through, but it doesn't anyway. It looks like there's some movement over there. Is that true? If so, what's going there? Yes, that's true. A Hawaiian barbecue, I think? Hawaiian, like, food? Hawaiian barbecue or something like that? It was supposed to be Filiberto's, Mexican food, but I think it's a Hawaiian barbecue. Uh-oh. Bill Robertson asked a question. He said, Surf Park update. I got none, man. You know, when we announced that thing 4 years ago, I said at the time, and I said it clearly, so people understood, I don't think it's ever happening. But the developer wanted it. The city had some land. Developer owns the land. I think the biggest problem that happened was COVID. So COVID came in and it hit, and a lot of equity, or not equity, investment money dried up. So right now, to borrow the money to build it would probably cost 7-8%. And they can't pencil that out as developers anymore. So I don't know when it's going to happen, but we'll see. I hope it happens. It'd be pretty cool. But I consider it more of the apex of surfers, right? Apex over there on 238 is for personal drivers, and they bring their nice fancy cars and they go drive. The water park, although had a bigger concept in the beginning, much smaller concept from what I've seen recently, and it's basically surfing and hotel stays. So if you don't surf, probably not worth it for you. But hey, they're going to bring people in to surf and spend money. Empty plot on the corner of Honeycutt and Hartman. Anything going in there? Probably a gas station. I'm good. Oh, she can hear me now. Loud and clear. I can hear. Good. Are there any plans for more commercial developments in the Anderson Farms area? Yes. If you notice the corner of Hartman and Edison, there's 4 corners there. All of that will be commercial eventually. What's going to go there? I don't know. But that's where they're rumoring a Fry's. They, as in the media and people like that, not me. right. Are there any are there plots on the corners of Bolin and Hartman? Yeah, that's right. I keep saying Edison. I meant Bolin. My apologies. Bolin and Hartman. All right. Any questions? There's 22 people on the call. I usually do this for an hour. We've been going for an hour. Any questions at all? I'll answer them. All right. So, there's a lot of people out there who think I do this job because I'm trying to enrich myself. There's people out there that think I work for developers. There's people out there that make asinine comments that have no basis in fact. I'm going to tell you something. I do this job because I live in the city of Maricopa. My family lives in the city of Maricopa. We want what's best for the city of Maricopa and its citizens. That's what I want. That's what all our council members want. Whether it's the mayor, myself, Eric Gettle, or Henry, or Anne Marie, or Amber, or all of us, right? Bob, vote for Bob, right? All of us want the best for Maricopa. Now, does that mean we can do only what we want? No, of course not. Sometimes you have to do what you don't want to do because it's the law. So you have to do it. Like I mentioned earlier about stopping residential. It's almost impossible to do. The state is making it easier and easier and easier for residential to come. Casitas and all that stuff. And they want to make it easier for multifamily housing to be built, where it's like, the rights are so tight that they can do whatever they want. That's what they want at the state level. So for us to try and push against it, it's hard. So what we do as city council members, we do the best we can for the community. Now, I'm not the guy to come to ask a question where I'm going to say, I'll look into that and get back to you and tell you something privately that doesn't jive. I'm going to tell you cold, honest, factual truth. Some people hate that. But it is what it is. We are here to do what we can. I make this Facebook Live available to anyone that wants to answer questions. I've had people come on here, curse at me and yell at me, and I answer their questions. I've had people be very nice, like today, everybody's been nice and pleasant, and answer their questions. I will treat people the way I am treated. I'm not that guy who is just going to be, oh, it's okay, everything's okay. That's not me. All right, I'm going to be open and honest. All right, so plots of corners. Let me see if there's any questions. I know it's going to take time for 347 to get approved, but what about fixing pothole fixing? Yeah, Anthony, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. We did a lot of pothole fixing just recently on the 347. And there'll be more done throughout the year as more and more funds are available through ADOT for reclamation or fixing them. Thank you, Anthony. I try to be involved. Just some suggestions for fast food, and now Chick-fil-A and Salad and Go. Salad and Go. I'm going to do this right here just to make sure. I've been doing this for years now. Salad and Go. Come to Maricopa. You could do this too. All you got to do is tag them. Salad and Go. Come to Maricopa. I just said it. See how it's tagged right there? They get that, hopefully, and they're keeping track. Salad and Go should be in Maricopa. I think it would be nonstop traffic. I think they'd make a lot of money. If it was a franchise, I might have looked into buying a franchise. But unfortunately, it's not a franchise. But people love that thing. I like it. All right, any other questions, any comments, any concerns, please share this, even though it's over or we're ending. Share this with friends and family. Tell them to come back here next month. Tell them to email me, call me. My cell phone number is just easy. It's 602-373. This is my personal cell phone. I carry it with me all the time. Answer it, right? What happened to the city central walkable? Oh, no problem. What happened was pretty simple. It fell through. It's not happening. But someone else might come along and do it. But the whole restaurant row thing just didn't flesh out paperwork for the people who wanted to build it. But you never know. It could come back. All right. Any other questions? I'm going to get off the computer now and head home. It's 7:09. I did about an hour and 9 minutes. But if there's any questions, I'll answer it really quick. I'll give 10 seconds. right. All right. Thank you so much. God bless everybody. Thank you for being part of Maricopa. I love the city. I love the interactions we have, and I look forward to having them on and on and on again. Thank you.